There are Chinese prisons in this country. And Chinese police stations, I should say. Chinese! In the United States, they have police stations.
It's been reported that the Chinese Communist Party are operating police stations in the United States in an effort to surveil Chinese dissidents. It seems obvious the U.S. shouldn't allow its most significant geopolitical rival, an oppressive communist regime, to establish police stations in the U.S. What authority or jurisdiction does the CCP have in the U.S.?
How is it possible and how is it legal that there are Chinese police stations in the United States? I mean, how is this not just one big building of spies in this country? And the FBI, head of the FBI says, yeah, it's very concerning to me too.
Senator, like you, I'm very concerned about this. We are aware of the existence of these stations. I had to be careful about discussing our specific investigative work, but to me it is outrageous to think that the Chinese police would attempt to set up shop, in New York, let's say, without proper coordination. It violates sovereignty and circumvents standard judicial and law enforcement cooperation processes. And the reason this is so important is because we have seen a clear pattern of the Chinese government, the Chinese Communist Party, exporting their repression right here into the U.S. And we've had now a number of indictments that you may have seen of the Chinese engaging in uncoordinated quote-unquote law enforcement action right here in the United States, harassing, stalking, surveilling, blackmailing people who they just don't like or who disagree with the Xi regime.
Well, what do you mean concerning? Get rid of them! How is it concerning? It's not legal. We have espionage acts. We have things that don't allow spies to operate in this country. But the Chinese government, communist government, has police stations in the United States of America. And our head of the FBI says, yeah, it's really, really worrisome.
Well, it's a real problem, and it's something that we're talking with our foreign partners about as well, because we're not the only country where this has occurred.
They don't have any right to be here, right?
Well, we're looking into the legal parameters of it, so I want to be a little bit careful not to get out over my skis on that. But suffice to say, I can tell you from an FBI director perspective, I'm deeply concerned about this, and I'm not going to just let it lie.
Okay. Secretary, does it impact Homeland Security at all?
Well, of course, the threat of China is one of the most significant threats that we face in the homeland. It's not only a matter of national security; it's a matter of homeland security in a number of arrays, in a number of areas of our mission.
Do you think you have the ability to shut them down? Do you know if you have the right to shut them down?
I would have to defer to the Department of Justice with respect to the
it would go to
legal
justice.
You're the head of the FBI. They said, well, what do you know about it? Yeah, I don't know. I just know it doesn't look good.
So when you know they're here, do you know if they're surveilling U.S. citizens? Do you know that yet? Do you have enough information to know if they are?
Well, again, I don't want to get too far into our ongoing investigative work, but as I said, we have seen plenty of situations in the past where the Chinese government, under the pretext of going after corruption, have essentially used that as a vehicle to surveil. We've had situations where they've planted bugs inside Americans' cars, for example.
Tonight, the FBI accusing the Chinese government of secretly operating a police station out of this unassuming building in the heart of New York City, the first ever case of its kind.
This case is a further example of the audacious activities that the government of China has carried out right here on American soil.
The FBI arresting these two men in New York City today, Lu Jiang Wang and Chen Jingping, accusing them of working under the direction of China's Ministry of Public Security. Their office near Chinatown claimed to be a non-profit organization providing assistance to local residents of Chinese descent, including to help them get driver's licenses. But the FBI says the station was a hub of Chinese counterintelligence operations in New York City, used to harass and intimidate dissidents who dared to defy China.
the secret police station appears to have had a more sinister use.
Officials say Liu allegedly tracked down and terrorized a pro-democracy activist living in California. In one stunning case, sources telling ABC News China is accused of having a secret operative inside the Zoom company and of hacking Zoom sessions.